Hi, my name is Bob MacDonald. I live in Nova Scotia, Canada. Today I'd like to take you through the tying of a craft first shrimp. I've used this fly for the last 15 years. Very good fly. Here in Nova Scotia, we because we're so close to the salt water, we have a lot of estuaries, tidal rips, and of course the Bedore lakes that are off salt water. So we chase trout, fish trout in these spots. And one of the main food sources in the salt water is crayfish. So although I'm calling this a shrimp, it's a good imitation for crayfish. It would be a very good fly to tie on for rainbow trout in the Bedore lakes or brown trout in any of the estuaries, and of course the striped bass that we see in most of the estuaries around Nova Scotia now. Two things that I would like to bring to your attention, and they are the two products that I'll be showing you how to use. These are the Easy Shrimp eyes. Very easy to apply, come in 4 different colors. And the Easy Shrimp legs, which to me really enhances the look of the fly and the movement of the fly. They're very mobile rubber legs, and for all you trout fishermen out there tying nymphs, when you tie a nymph and you put some rubber legs on it, it seems to catch twice as many fish. So I tie these shrimp in an array of colors, from orange to olive to white to pink, all shades of pink. I've noticed through my experience that pink and orange seem to be the prevalent colors that the fish will take. I've tried olive lots of times, but haven't had the success that I've had with the pink and the orange. So I will tie today an olive shrimp so that you can see what it looks like. And these products will be come to the North American market in the spring of 2014. Up to this point, they haven't been available to us Fly-Tyers in the North American market, but the team from Easy Shrimp Eyes has made some business decisions, and they will be selling them in North America this spring. So with further ado, let's get to tying this shrimp. In preparation of this fly, you can use stainless steel hooks or a regular trout hook, right? This is a size 2 Temco. And what I did is I put a slight bend in the hook, and you'll see why that enhances the look of the shrimp afterwards. But because this fly is tied upside down, and you want the barb sticking up, you have to counteract the weight of the shank of the hook so that it'll always fish upside down. You have to put a little bit of lead. And there's a specific way that I put the lead on that will help give that shrimpy looking look to the fly. So I wind the mono thread up to just above the barb, and I double a piece of lead. Now some tires will use lead strips, you can use tungsten. Whatever you choose to use, it's just to give it a little bit of weight. I will go through a series of 3 different strips of lead here to really make it a pronounced shape that I'm looking for. Each one will be progressively a little shorter, and you'll see what I get after I'm done. So I double that again. I'm just doubling the lead here. Take my thread right back up here, And I do not start where I started the last time. I take it a little closer to the eye of the hook. I really want to enhance that body segment of the shrimp. That's what I'm doing here. Clip that off again. Double another piece. Take my thread back up first. Put another piece of double lead right at the bend. Like I said, I want to enhance that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bind all this down right to where I bent that, reshaped that hook a little bit. Cut that off. Go over this a couple times, smooth everything out. And you don't have to be very particular on that. You're just all you're doing is lashing this lead down so that it doesn't come free. So you can see at the bend, I've enhanced the bend of that hook a little bit. And you'll see why I do that in a minute. So from there, I'm going to take this down a little bit more, and I'm going to take some extra select craft fur. You can get this is very, very cheap. Very, very cheap. I think this patch costs like $2. You can get it in any color you want. And the reason I like this so much is it in the water it just goes crazy. So I'm going to take a piece off of that as close to the binding material as you can. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hold the long pieces and pull the underfur out. I want the underfur tied in first to give just a little bit of a bulk and a little bit of V shape to the fur. I'm going to tie this in like this, little loop, and then progressively tie this down around the bend. Go over that with the thread again. Take the long pieces, even them up a little bit. These are going to be our feelers. I'm going to put that on top. Put that over. Bind that down. The next thing I'm going to take, and I do this, I believe it's needed. Some people may disagree with me. I'm taking a little bit of fish hair, and this is a little stiff, and because that fly will be upside down, I want some support for that craft fur. So I put that like that, put another loop, put that down. This looks messy and out of place right now, but you'll see how it'll all come together. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to wind all this down to start forming my shrimp body. I'm going to take a little bit of that off. Taper it down a little bit because a shrimp in the natural state is tapered towards the tail. So I'm going to wrap that like that. Clip a few of these loose ends that are sticking out. So we have our tail in. The next thing I'm going to do is take a package of some easy shrimp legs, and they conveniently put a little holder on this. And when you tie these in, you don't want to tie it here, you want to tie it close to where your tail starts, and it just gives the legs a little bit more personality, I like to call it. So you can go between your legs with your between your legs with your thread, and you just do it easy. Don't bind down too much to make sure. You want to make sure that's on straight. And there's a little tab on the back to really bind down. So you just straighten that out a little bit. Then you come back up through it again. Binding it down. Now we're not going to see this because we're going to dub the body on, and you're not going to see all these the bottom of the legs, but I just like to go through the legs a little bit just to secure it. One thing I like to do when I tie a fly, you want to make sure it lasts. If you're catching trout on it, you don't want it to fall apart. And you will catch trout on these shrimp flies. So that's secured pretty good. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get here and we're going to clip that off. And you can pull on these and shape these a little bit if you like. You can either even take Pantone markers, which are waterproof markers, and you can mark the joints if you want to have an ultra realistic shrimp. So there you go. There are the legs. So prior to flipping that fly around, I'm going to take a little bit of seal dubbing and a little bit of wax. I'm using cobbler's wax here, and I put a little bit of wax on my tying thread. I stick that behind my ear because it's rock hard if it's not around heat, and I'm going to spin the dubbing on the tying thread. Obviously the cobbler's wax grips that, and that ain't coming off. So I'm gonna I want just a couple turns here first. And one thing about fly tying is, especially for trout, I believe the scruffier the better. I like lots of hair movement in my flies. They trap little air bubbles and whatnot, and I just think it adds to the effectiveness of the fly. So we're gonna now take the fly out of the vise, flip it around. The next thing we're going to do is take another little piece of craft fur. This probably will be off camera, and I want to take a little bit of the under fur again, and I want to put that right on top of this. And I do this for a couple reasons. It'll support my shell back, and it'll give my eyes something to really keep them splayed. Cut this off. Then what we're going to do, I'm just trying to shape these legs a little bit. You can pull on these. These are pretty tough. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a black easy shrimp eye. In the past, most tires have used mono and burnt mono, and you'd have to tie them on one at a time, and the paint would come off. These are pre-made, inexpensive, and you got a nice flat tying section to mount them. So I'm going to advance my thread up the body a little bit. To about there, and I want to visually see where I think my eyes should go. And that looks pretty good there. So I'm going to just take this and put a couple of wraps there, and then behind it, and make sure that's right on the top. We want that right on the top. If you look at a shrimp or a crayfish in the wild, one of the prominent things to a shrimp or a crayfish is their eyes. And they've done a marvelous job mimicking these shrimp eyes. So I'm just going to bind this down. What this does too, this big flat piece of mono, it enhances the body, the shape of the body. So I'm going to pull them back and get in real close, bind this down. This mono thread is so thin that you can put lots of lashes down and it ain't going nowhere. So I'm going to advance my thread back up through the legs, and now what I'm going to do, all I'm going to use is a piece of ribbon that people wrap their gifts with. You can get this in a multitude of colors. I'm going to shape the end a little bit. You don't have to be too fancy. Fish don't care. And I'm going to cut a little long. Prior to that, I'm going to add a little bit more dubbing. Start building the body up. Put a little bit of wax. Put that behind my ear to keep that nice and warm. Dub the seal's fur on it. And I'm going to wind that through here a little bit. Go between the legs. The good thing about using mono thread, you can come back up through it, and I do this just to make sure that dubbing is in there good. Through there again. Make sure those shrimp eyes are straight, which they look good. Now I'm going to take this. This is going to be a start of a shell back. And until we take it out of the vise, you will really get an appreciation what this does. So I'm going to take this one more time up here. Take the shell back. cup it over the top. Put a couple of wraps on top. What this does is gives the illusion of that segmented body that a shrimp is. Now fold that back, take your thread back through the legs. You can do it a very number of ways, but this is the way I do it. And I want to take it back here because I want to continue dubbing the rest of the body. So wax again. Seal's fur, and like I said, rabbit dyed in different colors. There's various amounts of synthetic dubbing that you can use. There's so many types of dubbing now on the market that be too many for me to list, but anything that with the color that you want to make your shrimp in. So I'm going to advance that towards the eye. I need a little bit more. And a little bit more wax. I use this wax. It was introduced to me by the classic Fly-Tyers around the world. Really, really good stuff, and I start using it for everything. I really, really like it. So, as you come to the eye, you're going to start minimizing the bulk because the shrimp in the wild tapers down towards his tail. So go like that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make the segmented body. So on a natural shrimp, his I don't know the proper terminology for it, but he has a little, think of a lobster, he's got that one extended bump. It's bigger than the rest. So I'm going to go 2 wraps there. Then I'm going to advance my thread a little bit, and I'm going to, here's the segmented body. I'm going to go again, advance my thread, make another bump, and these will progressively get a little closer together, just trying to mimic the natural shrimp. I don't think the trout care if they got 3 segments or 10, but anyway, us Fly-Tyers try to make it as close as better, or as close as we can, thinking that it will be better. So now this is going to be my last segment of body. So I'm going to wrap that. I'm going to pull that back a little bit. I'm going to tie off. And this is just a series of half hitches I'm doing. And I get my trusty old dubbing needle that's been around with me for 30 some odd years. Tie it off. Clip that. Now I'm going to shape this tail a little bit. Sometimes I leave the tail on, sometimes I don't. But for the sake of the video, I will trim that off like that and like that. Now the one last thing I'm going to do here is take my dubbing brush. Now basically I make these up. I take Velcro and I glue them to popsicle sticks. And I'm just going to make this nice and hairy. So I'm going to keep making that because I believe that traps little air bubbles and that'll move. I'm going to try to get these looking right for you. We'll brush this out a little bit more. The other thing you can do, if you would like, you can take a Pantone marker and you can highlight the segments just to add a little bit of and there you have a craft fur shrimp. Hope you enjoyed this, and don't be afraid to try it. Very easy to tie, and proven fish catcher. Thanks for watching.